Well, Leon, thanks again for coming on the show, man. It's been a
Well,
while.
I'm glad you're having me back. I mean, I must have made at least an impression.
Oh, for sure, man. I had a good time talking to you. For people that don't know, Leon was actually one of my earlier guests, and we talked about a lot of stuff. And he has his own podcast. Well, go ahead and plug that in there,
And my,
Leon.
my podcast is Altitude Adjustment.
Uh, are y'all still rocking and rolling on that?
Absolutely, yeah. We start back up the 14th. We are in our winter break,
Oh, okay,
and we start back up on the 14th, streaming live. But you can
cool,
catch all the episodes on YouTube. Just do a search for Altitude or Lions Den STL.
awesome. Hey, can you hear me good, Leon?
I hear
Just
you
me.
perfect.
Okay, great. All right, so Leon, normally,
Is the audio fine for me?
yeah, it's perfect. No, I can hear you good.
Excellent. Okay.
Okay. So, Leon, basically, I just wanted to have you on just so we could talk about random stuff,
Hey, that's
political
cool.
stuff. And because I
Okay.
know that we're both on, like, I wouldn't say opposite sides of the spectrum, but we definitely have differing opinions on things.
Absolutely. Sure.
And
Mhm.
I think it's great to talk to people that have different opinions. Cause I,
That's good.
cause I could talk to my friends all day and it's like, we're all saying the same thing. And, we'll come up with random stuff too. I'll say off the wall stuff, like either just to make my friends laugh or we'll talk crazy. But I also like to talk to people that don't agree with me, you know, and I think maybe we can come to a conclusion and maybe because I feel like the world is divided hardcore right now,
Okay.
and it was with Trump, and now Trump's out, and now it's the vaccines and all that crap.
Okay.
So it seems to me like they're doing that on purpose. Like they're like, damn, they're not arguing about Trump anymore. What are we gonna do? I know. Just call the unvaccinated plague rats and then stuff like that. And then next thing you know, we're all fighting again.
Okay. So is that a question? You want me to
No,
comment on that, or you just made a statement?
I guess that was just basically a broad statement of what the deal was. Uh, you know, as far as how I feel about just talking with people, I think that
Mhm.
we need to talk and people need to talk. And we're being shut down. Like people shut down each other and we don't talk enough. It's always like, you're stupid. You don't know what the hell you're saying. And, there's a lot of that going on. And,
Mhm.
these conversations are fun. And I'm glad that you're, a good man and you'll come and talk to me,
Well,
even though
thank
you
you.
probably don't agree with me.
Well, I don't agree with. There are very few people that I agree with,
That's a
and the
good
reason
thing.
I say that is because um, I always try to look at things from different perspectives, and when I do that, what I find is that a lot of people find a position that they like and they stick with it. When I find a position that I like, I challenge it
That's good.
because how do you define the position as good if you don't know the alternative ideas? So one of my favorite um, analogies is life is like a cube. You have a person standing on one side, three people standing on different sides of the cube. One person says it's red, one person says it's blue, one person says it's yellow. Well, they're right looking at it from their perspective. But if they were to see what the other person sees, then they would realize that there's more to it than what they see. And so a lot of times people try to look at the other side of the cube.
That's a great analogy. I like that. Some people think the earth is flat and some
Right,
people think the earth is round.
right.
And they both call each other stupid.
Exactly.
But there's a lot of merit to both sides, I would say. I mean, you can go outside, it looks flat, but it's probably not.
I
But
understand. Mhm.
right? And
No, I understand.
a lot of people question NASA because NASA lies like crazy. I mean, I can agree with that. If
Okay.
you look into it, as far as like the moon landing and how NASA hired Warner von Braun, the Hitler's #1 Nazi scientist that used Jewish slaves to make massive V2 rockets, which was the best rocket on the planet at the time. So we just said, you know what? This dude makes good rockets. Let's not kill him. Let's just take him to America and make him work for NASA.
Okay.
You know, and stuff like that. Kind of that's where you go like, what the hell? You know, like what's really going on here? And that's why people start to question NASA and the government in general. Really, I think the government in general is just a. I used to think America was like I was like a hardcore patriot, like, yeah, you know, after 9/11, let's kill all the terrorists and all that stuff.
Mhm.
And the more I learned about it, I said, hold on, man, we're doing some wicked, wicked shit. And I still love this country and I think it's the greatest country on the world. But I'm of no I don't think that we're infallible. I think that we do a lot of evil stuff around the world, and we always have. You know, and when people get that much power, when they get extreme amounts of power, most of the time they turn evil.
For you, was
Do you
that where I
think?
was supposed to jump
Okay,
in?
no, no, no.
Was there a question? Okay.
Okay. Do you
Okay.
think the government is evil?
No.
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 Do you think we've done evil things?
Yes.
Okay, so I guess that's a weird question because the government isn't just one person.
Exactly.
I guess you could say the founding documents are good as far as inalienable
Really? They
rights.
started off. They started off supporting slavery. So why would it be
Yeah,
good?
I think it was like slavery. It was, of course, it was terrible, like beyond terrible.
Mhm.
But at that time, it wasn't even a big deal to them. So it didn't really have anything to do with the rights that they were writing.
Really?
But
Okay.
well, as far as like uh the freedom of speech,
Mhm.
that's good.
Mhm.
We can all agree that's good.
Now, let me ask you a question.
Go ahead.
At one time, it was considered that you could not rape your wife.
Hmm. It was considered that you couldn't.
Right. In this country, a husband could not
Oh,
be
that you
arrested or charged with raping his wife. So, do
is
you
it
think
now?
at one point raping was good?
No.
So why then was slavery okay?
No, I never said slavery was okay. No,
You said
slavery is
at the
abhorrent.
time that they
No,
wrote
I'm
it, it
saying
wasn't that big of a deal.
no, I'm saying they thought it wasn't that big of a deal.
Okay,
Obviously now it's
what they thought
terrible.
was right. What they thought was, um,
Like they weren't
so
worried
you look
about
at
it,
it
is
in
what I mean.
retrospect,
Like they're like, oh, slavery. Oh,
right?
who cares about that? Let's do this
That's
thing.
because,
Yeah.
that's they wanted to do it because they wanted to achieve something, and slavery was the way to achieve it, and
Well,
allowing slavery was the way to achieve it. So for the
well.
people who
Go ahead.
for the people who accepted it, who
Mhm.
didn't practice it, who
Mhm.
may have thought it was evil, but it was a necessary evil, or they
Right.
were willing to compromise
Mhm.
so that they could create this document, aren't they just as culpable as the people who thought it was great and insisted on putting it in the document? Because if you don't, so I think it was Benjamin Franklin that said, "Give me liberty or give me death."
Yes.
He knew, he believed um, that he would die for his freedom, yet he supported a document that took away other people's freedoms.
Uh, yes. I would say that.
Now, I probably should look that quote up because,
No, you're right. He did say that.
okay.
Yes. But give me liberty or give me death. he understood. Do you think that maybe it was like they were kind of like, it was like a almost like an evolution to let the slaves free? Because if one of them said, you know what, this is wrong, we need to free the slaves now, there would be a war, which eventually did happen. The civil war, right?
Mhm.
So I guess maybe they were, and that happened in the Bible days too. Like in the Old Testament, it talks a lot about endangered servants and
Mhm.
how
Service.
to treat people and like, hey, these are my slaves, but we have to take care of them, and if they run away, we can't go capture them, and you know what I mean, this is just the way it is right now. And then Jesus came along and he said, talked about loving everybody and loving everybody the same, and all that great stuff. So maybe it was like a precursor to now how, of course, America's completely free. There's no slaves, there's no nothing like that. And yeah, maybe, I mean, I don't know. That's just, I guess it was maybe but you said the government was good.
No.
Yeah, I said, is the government evil? And you said no.
Right. That doesn't mean it necessarily is good.
I think
Government is
the
necessary.
true. Well, I don't know. That's debatable.
Why? Okay. Why would you say? Why would you say it's not debatable, not necessary? Let me come back to that.
Okay.
Okay. So government is necessary is something we want to come back to.
Right.
Okay. So one of the things that you first start talking about was government good or bad?
Mm-hmm.
Governments are run by people.
Yes. And
There is no
people are
such
evil.
thing as a government that does not have people in it.
Yeah. Agreed.
The nature of people is
Evil.
not necessarily evil. People are prone to do things, whether intentionally or accidentally, to do things that aren't good. We make mistakes, we learn from the mistakes, and we either change our behavior or we continue to do the behavior that needed to be corrected.
Mm-hmm.
True?
Yeah. Yeah, I would agree with that.
So does that make us evil? You have a person whose intent is to try to include everybody, but in their attempt to include everybody, they trample on somebody else, and they don't realize that they're doing it until it's brought to their attention.
Right.
So
Yeah, I
that
agree.
doesn't necessarily make them evil, but yet they may have committed an evil act.
Yeah.
Sometimes
I agree with that.
sometimes they get angry and they do something intentionally
Yeah.
to
It's
hurt
like
someone.
you can't please everybody, basically.
So mankind, and I'm using it in general, womankind included.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not going to get into the pronoun debate in this
No,
talk.
don't please. Because I got a lot to say about that.
So man
Craziness.
has the potential for good and the potential for harm.
Absolutely.
Okay, so governments being made of people have the potential for good and the
Yes.
potential for harm.
Agreed.
Right.
Yeah.
So you talked about NASA
Yes.
bringing aboard a scientist who participated in the killing of Jews.
Massively. Yeah.
Okay, whether he did 1 or 1,000,000,
Well, he used them for slaves to build his rockets.
I understand, but he's done harm.
Yes.
So NASA made a decision. Do we accept the work of this person who has done harm so that we can do good?
Well, I mean, just getting to space isn't good. I mean,
You don't think it's good?
it's
You
good.
do know that
We
this planet. You do know that this planet is going to eventually die.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Okay, so if mankind is to survive,
Well,
we
we
can't
would have
survive
figured
on a
it
dead
out.
planet, can we?
Well, we would have figured it out. I mean, we figured out the
Figured
atom
out what?
bomb,
What would we
the
figure out?
rocket, the V2 rocket. That's what Warner von Braun was doing. He was making the V2 rocket, and they're like, "Well, that's
So I think you jumped.
No, I'm just saying, like, we could have just killed him and said, you know what, we'll figure it out.
Again.
We're smart.
So here's the thought.
I know what you're saying. We used a bad person and
we use
his
that person
technology to turn it into
do
something good.
something because he provided something that was good. There's that
Yeah,
dichotomy
well,
of man. So do
yep.
we turn down if we look at every person and we say, oh, when you were 9 years old, you stole, you beat up another kid. So whatever you do from this point on, we don't use it.
Well, that's a extreme analogy. I would say a better analogy is Benjamin Franklin, or Thomas Jefferson.
Okay.
The good that he did, now we want to erase him from history. Apparently now he's a racist slave owner that we should just whitewash and get rid of his statues and take him off the $20 bill and all this stuff just because he participated in something that was evil at the time. But for the better of
it has always been evil. It
I
has
know.
been from this
No, I know, but but he's did things to help America grow.
Which is what I pointed out. People do things.
Right.
They do things good and they do things that are bad. And so then the discussion becomes, when do you not accept the contributions of someone based on what they've done in their life?
That's a tough one. I want to say never.
Not really easy.
I want to say never, but the way like the left and the liberal media is going, like if you had a bad tweet 20 years ago, they'll fire you and cancel you, which is insane because I mean that means that no one is past redemption or forgiveness. Like for instance, the guy that was going to get the job at Jeopardy, and like he was about to get the job at Jeopardy to be the new host, and he had a tweet like 20 years ago that was apparently racist. It wasn't, but it was, of course, you could make it sound racist. So they said, screw him, fire him.
Charges of harassment, sexual harassment. There was some other
Jeopardy
more recent.
Should we forgive him for that?
Toxic workers environment.
Well, if we can forgive Warner Von Braun, I'm sure we can forgive the guy from Jeopardy for maybe hitting on a woman. You know what I mean?
That was your sister. Would you be as forgiving?
Well, I mean, did he rape her? I mean,
is that your threshold?
Well, I mean, if he made a pass at her,
then it was okay.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, if he raped her, no, he should be in prison. But I'm saying if he said, "Hey, man, you look good today," like, come on,
Well, that's your threshold.
Yes, that to me, that's fine. That's, I mean, if you're I mean, we don't know the details.
But someone else's threshold is less than that because he should have known better.
Well, at that time, he didn't know. It was not frowned upon. Now it's like,
no, it was always. It has always been frowned upon to mistreat people.
No, always. It is
always.
You should be able to court a woman.
There's a difference between courting. Nice. Okay,
that's what I mean. We don't know the details of his situation.
Here's what I'm trying to get you to, is that we all have different criteria. We all have different thresholds for the things that we think are good and bad.
Yep.
If we don't have a common threshold,
yes,
then it's hard for us to communicate. It's hard for us to work together.
I agree.
Okay. So the government is there to help us establish a standardized threshold of what is acceptable and what is not acceptable in society. And why do you say no?
Because we, the people, should decide that, not a bureaucrat in a suit. I think we need to decide.
We had that discussion last time. Who is the government?
A bunch of people. They try to rule over us. I know, but they're ruling over us. Like, we pay their bills. Like, they're not here to tell us what to do.
Can you become a senator?
Yes.
Can you become president?
Yes. Anybody in America can.
The people are the government.
But I'm not I can't tell no one to do if I have a position of power.
Okay. So I don't know. Okay. So we vote as a block of people. We vote. We have a chance to elect our representatives, and we have a chance to give our input on the laws and the laws and the things that are held up in our society as important. There is no tell me a better system
I can't.
than that.
Well, it would either be anarchy or America.
Now, in anarchy, everybody does what they want to do.
Yeah.
So if you're and I having this conversation and you say something or I say something that somebody doesn't like,
yeah,
they then have
deal with it, right?
Have the potential to say, I want to impose the death penalty on that. And they can, because there is no overriding government that says these things are right and these things are wrong.
Yeah.
So anarchy is not a better
People do
system,
it all the time.
But it's not a better system.
Probably not, but I'm saying that would maybe be a good idea. But anyways, I had a couple of things I wanted to talk to you about. Like we talked about that stuff already. I had a couple of talking things I wanted to ask you about.
Okay.
So last time we talked, the verdict came out of George Floyd. Since we were able to talk, right?
Okay.
How did you feel about that? Were you happy? Did you agree with the verdict?
It is not. Okay. So as a person who examines, so my podcast is about examining ideas and things in our society so that we can create a better society. I believe in the justice system. I believe in judges and juries and lawyers to litigate interactions between people. What the jury gave down, I have to accept if I believe in that system. Now, are there jury verdicts that are handed down that I disagree with? Absolutely, in my mind. But I don't, in my mouth, say I disagree with a verdict, because that undermines the system that I say I believe in.
Yep. I agree.
So George Floyd's verdict was as it was. And if I have some issues with the verdict, I point those issues out so that I think that that there was a flawed mechanism used to come to that verdict, then that's how we make the justice system better.
Okay, cool. I agree with that.
But as far
you
as
say the justice works,
verdict came down, it was the verdict.
Yeah. So you're saying that you agree with the system. So whatever the system decides is, I guess, not right, but that's just what happened.
When
doesn't make it right, just means that's what happened, and that's the way. That's a system that we use. So if that was a outcome, then that's the outcome.
That's the outcome. Right? So there are times when.
Okay, let me give you an example then. Kyle Rittenhouse. How did you feel about that? It is what it is.
Again,
I guess.
Okay, so a lot of the questions you're asking me is, how do I feel?
I guess, yeah, because like
I try not to use my emotions.
Okay.
To look at things, I try to look at logic.
Okay, let me ask it in a different way.
Okay.
Do you think that Kyle Rittenhouse should have gone free for killing those two?
I have questions. I have questions about a person who arms themselves, walks into a volatile situation, and then claims self-defense. Because at any point, I walk into a situation and create an antagonistic environment just by my presence. I walk in, I've got a loaded weapon. Everybody that sees me with a loaded weapon has every reason to believe I have an intent to use it.
That was his neighborhood and his store, though. So basically, the rioters walked into his area.
But every time anybody sees you with a loaded weapon displayed openly, they have every reason and every right to assume your intent is to use it.
No.
Okay. Then, you know, if we can't agree on that fact, then we're never going to come to a consensus on that.
Well, I'm just saying, from my point of view, would be like, I have a gun. Do not fuck with me.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. That's
right.
If that is not not intent, then what is?
Its intent is having a gun and going and punching someone in the face and saying "fuck with me." That's intent. Because that's saying, "Hey, I got a gun. If you do something, I'll shoot you."
I have an issue. You don't have to go there.
What do you mean?
He didn't have to go to that march.
Well, he was asked to, and
it doesn't matter if he was asked to.
Yeah, but he had a right to be there.
Asked to means he has an opportunity to say no.
But he had a right to be there. I mean,
I didn't say he didn't have a right to be there.
Mm-hmm. So then I guess the whole thing's irrelevant. Like, he shouldn't have been there. Yeah, well, I mean, the rioters shouldn't have been there. They shouldn't have.
There are certain things. There are certain things that create. There are certain things that you can do that creates the impression that you're an aggressor.
He did not look like an aggressor. He was telling the guys to get away from me.
Well, let's start small. Let's start small. Are there things that you can do that other people can look at and say he's being aggressive?
I don't understand the question. I could.
Are there actions that you can take that other people would look at and think you are being aggressive?
Like, yeah, if I start yelling at my girlfriend in the middle of Walmart.
Start yelling. What else? If you start walking towards somebody.
And like bucking up to them, yeah. That's being
So there are things that you can do.
But that's being aggressive.
So someone can look at you carrying a weapon and believe that you're being aggressive. Because what you're saying is, I have brought a weapon because I believe it's necessary and I am intending to use it.
No, that last part is where I don't agree. You don't, okay. I carry a gun. I never, ever want to use that thing.
Then why carry it? What kind of world where you carry a gun with your intent is to not use it? That makes no sense whatsoever.
No, it makes absolute sense because
if it makes absolute sense, then I'm going to accept that from you. Okay. I'm just saying, me as an individual, if I'm not going to use a gun, I don't carry it. There's no reason to.
Well, that's absurd, Leon. I got fire extinguishers in my house. I don't ever want to use it.
You don't. I didn't say want.
I don't ever. What do you mean?
But you will use them.
I will use my fire extinguisher. Correct? Yes.
So there's intent.
Okay, let me ask you this, Leon.
Okay, go ahead.
You're at the movie theater in Aurora, in Denver, Colorado. Okay. A fucking psychopath runs in there and starts screaming and shooting everybody.
Yes.
Would you want to have a gun in that situation if you were in the front row?
No.
So you would rather die.
I'm gonna.
And not only would you rather die, you would hold on.
Want to die.
Hold on. Would you rather die and let other people die because you didn't want to carry a gun?
You know, take that logic and say, well, shouldn't we all carry a gun to the grocery store?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, Leon. I love my gun. And the only reason I love my gun is because I feel safer with me and my family and the people around me. Frankly,
you intend to use it.
I will use it if someone tries. If a terrorist
sees you with a gun,
no, I hide my gun.
Every reason to believe you're intending to use it.
If you attack me or my family, yes.
I don't know what you consider an attack.
So if I'm so
I may look at you, I may look at your wife really hard, and you may believe that's a threat. And you pull out your gun.
A dumbass with a gun would do that. Yeah, for sure. There's people. There's a bunch of thugs that if you look at their chick wrong, they'll shoot you.
There's a lot, and there's people who aren't thugs that do the exact same thing.
Probably. Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay, check this out, Leon. Okay, check this out.
Go ahead.
I'm walking through Walmart with my family. I don't do this, but let's say I was open carrying my gun. Does someone have the right to come and bash me over the head with a brick because they thought I might shoot somebody, even though I was walking through Walmart with my family, pushing a cart with food in it? Because they said, "Oh, I thought he was intent to shoot me, so I had to act fast and go bash him over the head, and I'm a hero now."
Okay. So if you walk into the store,
yeah,
with a gun on your hip,
yes,
everybody that sees you with a gun on your hip has ample reason to believe you will shoot someone. If they have no idea what will set you off, all they know is you have brandished a weapon, clearly stated that you're willing to use it.
They should feel safer.
But they don't
use them on them.
Nobody knows your intent.
But that doesn't give them a right to attack me.
But they don't know your intent. I could,
of course they don't know my intent. I could walk into Walmart with no weapon
to fear you.
No, but I could walk into Walmart with no weapon, grab a knife, and stab somebody.
You could. But that's not what we're talking about.
But you can't.
What we're talking about is you brandishing a weapon.
That's profiling people. That's called profiling. Yes, it is.
You're stretching it now. Come on.
That's profiling, man.
That's not profiling.
When I see someone with a gun,
it's reasonable to believe.
I feel okay, man.
A weapon that is reasonable to believe.
Yeah, it's reasonable to be too. I guess some people are scared of guns. Yeah, if they're scared of guns, if they don't know anything about them,
they don't have to be scared of guns.
But I'm not going to shoot nobody
on my hip, or if I've got a weapon on my hip, and my gun is concealed.
Yes.
And the reason my gun is concealed is because I don't want to frighten the people around me.
Right.
I don't want the people to think that that I'm willing to use this gun. And it is my intent to only use this gun as a very last option. That's why it's concealed.
You got it.
But if you walk into the store with a concealed weapon, what you're saying is, look at me.
If you open carry, yes.
Look at me. I've got this weapon, and if you fuck with me, I will blow everybody in this building. That's what you're saying.
To some people. I mean, I'm sure you got a million people who will have different opinions. I frankly feel safer if I'm like somewhere and I see a redneck with a pistol. I'm like, well,
now you're categorizing people as redneck. Come on.
Okay. I just mean, like, if he seems like a decent dude that's not like,
how do you look?
He don't look shady.
Do you know that serial killers?
Now I'm profiling people.
How do you characterize him as shady?
If I see a dude with his ass hanging out,
there's
guys
chains
that
on rags that will pick up people's groceries.
You're right. No, you're right. Yeah, I know. You're right.
Look at somebody.
Or if I see
there are housewives with babies that are just strapped to the teeth.
I know. And if I see like a guy with blue hair and a Antifa shirt on, I'd be like, oh shit, who is this guy?
See, you're looking for
I'm profiling.
You're angry.
No. I don't get angry, man. I don't get angry. Okay. I get discouraged, and I get a little sad. Not at my fellow Americans, but at the way they've been brainwashed and manipulated.
Okay.
So
brainwashed about what?
Brainwashed by massive companies that have
brainwashed about
alien.
What is the brainwash?
Oh, there's lots of it. Like the as far as like COVID and the vaccines, for sure.
Okay.
Also, the
What's
whole thing
what's
with
the
the whole
brainwashing about COVID and
the
the vaccine?
brainwashing is you're gonna die no matter what, and if you don't get the vaccine, you're gonna die, and if you don't get the vaccine, you're gonna kill everybody, and you should be
Are there
afraid. And you
people that
should hide.
died because they did not get the vaccine?
I don't know.
Are there people that did not die because they did not get the vaccine?
I don't know.
So why do you call it brainwashing?
Because they're making somebody hate another person if they don't
Nobody's
do.
making somebody hate another person.
They're ingraining it through the programming, through the flicker rate, through the vibration, through the TV, through the energy. They're telling them that, and they absorb it.
So when you go
it's metaphysical, really.
So when you go to the grocery store and somebody gets to the register, don't have the money, ruffles through their pockets or through their purse, and they take a long time to get through the line, is that acceptable?
It's acceptable, but it's annoying.
Why is it annoying?
Because they're wasting your time.
Okay. So how do we get them to move faster?
You can't, unless you're like, hey,
if we have a standard, if we have a,
you have to be courteous. You can't just be like,
if we define courtesy as having your money ready when you get to the cashier so that you can pay for your goods and leave the store, that works for everybody, doesn't it?
Sometimes if they're short, I'll just give them $1.
I understand
like,
that.
Here,
but
dude,
the idea is, if we get everybody on the idea that it's good to get to the cash register, have your money ready, pay for your goods, so that the people behind you can go ahead and get their grocery shopping done and leave the store in a reasonable fashion, right? That's what we want to try to do.
What if there's someone that's not bothered? They're like, nah, I'm good.
Take your time, bro. They may not be bothered, but the idea is, by having that standard, we know that there are situations that occur that aren't going to meet that standard, and people are going to be patient. But by having a standard and everyone following that standard to the best of their ability, it works for everybody. Why is that called brainwashing?
Because I don't agree with that's a hard analogy. I thought you were going with and we should all get together and take the vaccine and we can get out of this. Like, that's where I thought you were going.
Okay.
But there's a famous quote that you cannot comply your way out of tyranny. So remember 2 weeks to slow the spread? Remember that one? That's hilarious, right? 2 weeks.
I don't know.
We only need 2 weeks.
What is the value of that? What is the value of bringing that up?
No, I'm just saying, like, they will not let go of their power. Like they said, 2 weeks, guys. We just need 2 weeks. Now it's 2 years. Vaccine passports. You can't go to breakfast without a vaccine. Now your kids got to get a vaccine or they can't go to the school. And now we're going to bash you over the head if you try to protest against the vaccine. Or if you don't get the vaccine, you're going to be fired and you're not going to get a job and you're going to get. That's what I mean. From 2 weeks to that. Okay. And that's why, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's not like, oh, just do what the government says and we'll get out of this. It's like,
you keep saying the government, and the government
is definitely us. The government, Leon.
The government is us. You keep making it an us and them.
But it is.
Everybody that's in the government was elected to the government. Nobody.
No, we need to stop electing these people.
One day and said, you know what? I'm going to be president today, and that's just it. And everybody
but it doesn't make it good, Leon. Like,
what do you mean it doesn't make it good?
Weed was illegal. That doesn't mean that that's right. It could.
Well,
slavery was legal, Lionel.
Jump all over the place.
Slavery was legal.
Okay,
Leon, doesn't make it right. That's what I mean. Just because the government says something doesn't mean we have to follow them.
Let's do this. Let's start with defining what is a good government. Can we do that?
Yes, and it's simple. Stay out of my business.
So stay out of your business.
Yes.
All right. So if you decide, if the society decides you cannot carry a weapon on your hip without it being covered. You decide that you don't want to follow that rule.
Yes.
What should society do? Just let you do it?
The founding documents say that
Now we're not talking about the founding documents.
No, but this is my answer. But this is my answer.
Go ahead.
Well, are we living in this? Are we talking about in this realm? Because in this realm,
Today.
the document says that you shall not be infringed. You can carry a weapon no matter what.
It does not say you can carry a weapon. It says
You have the right to bear arms.
Bear arms. What does bear arms mean? Carry a weapon every day.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it does.
I don't know how to.
But it does, Leon. What does it mean then? Okay, then what does it mean?
It's not. Bear arms means you can be bear arms if you keep your gun at home. That's the same as bearing arms.
It does not say you have the right to bear arms only in your house.
It does, but it doesn't say only on your person either.
Well, to bear arms is to bear it, which means possess.
If you say so.
Well, that's what the word means, Leon.
Leon. Okay. I think you're making it up as you go along.
No, I'm not, Leon. Yeah. Do you have a gun, Leon?
I do not.
Where do you live?
State. I'm going to tell you where I live.
No,
I don't have a gun. Come on over.
You're not scared?
Where do I live? I live on Mars. I live on the third sun. What do you mean?
Exactly. You just proved my point, Leon. You do not want people breaking into your house. You should shoot their ass if they break into your house.
I don't worry about people breaking into my house. I don't.
God forbid that happen to anybody.
If you live long enough, you're gonna live through some of that. And the idea is hopefully the person, everything in your house is stuff. It's just stuff.
Yeah, but not my family.
And if
family, I don't care about my stuff.
Make stuff life and death.
No, Leon, I don't care about the stuff.
I understand that.
I care about the people
so attached to their things that that they're willing to die for them or they're willing to kill for them.
I will kill someone.
All that stuff perishes.
I know, Leon, but
your car breaks down.
No, I know.
House needs repairs. You move on multiple occasions. If you're willing to die for that, I understand.
But Leon, my wife and my kids are not stuff, Leon. If they broke into my house and stole my shit, I'd be pissed. But it's different when my family's here.
Okay.
Yeah. Have you heard of the story?
So we were gonna talk about
let's go. Let's move on.
So
I got another question I wanted to ask you.
Well, let me ask you. Let's
okay, go.
Government first.
Okay, go ahead.
All right. You tell me, what is a good government?
One that stays out of my way, the way it was intended.
That's
I want them to.
That's absolutely anarchy.
No, but hold on. I'll abide by the rules. Do not tell me the rules of the Constitution.
The rules said take the vaccine. You just said fuck the vaccine.
Well, that's not a real document rule. That's an edict. That is under. That is under.
You're right.
You're right. Hold on. That is under an emergency act.
Go ahead.
The government tries to tell me that they have to inject something in me. That is insanity. That's like saying, Leon, we're going to force you to not eat McDonald's or any fast food for the rest of your life for your own health.
Okay.
Like, what if you want to eat McDonald's?
I love McDonald's.
Exactly. I love not shoving chemicals.
If not eating McDonald's, if it is proven that McDonald's
can give you a damn heart attack. McDonald's has killed millions of people, probably.
No, what's killed people is that they only try to survive on McDonald's. On McDonald's,
that's another thing. That's another government mess.
But if you don't eat healthy, then yeah, McDonald's is going to harm you. Right. But if McDonald's is part of a balanced diet, it's not that harmful.
So how would I? Well, how about I say, hey guys, I'm pretty healthy. I've beaten COVID.
Did we finish on what is a good government?
Okay.
You said a good government is one that stays out of your way. I say that's anarchy. You disagree with that being anarchy?
So be it. I mean, I'm not going to go murder people, but I don't want
people. I just said, what is a good government?
I don't want them to infringe on my freedom.
What freedom?
Give me liberty or give me death.
What freedom are they infringing?
My bodily autonomy. I am
so as long as you will follow any rule
that's
passed by government that does not violate your body person.
You know, we commit like 3 or 4 felonies a day. Most people. That's a statistic.
Clarify that for me.
You don't realize it, but you actually commit 2 or 3 felonies a day.
Like what?
I don't know what they are, but we do them. We don't even realize it. We do all kinds of bad shit. We break our misdemeanors. We do tons of misdemeanors too. Running red lights, speeding, I don't know. There's just plenty of little things that people do all the time, every day, that break the law.
Okay.
Right.
Right.
So my point is, like, I do not want the government to tell me to take a medical procedure that could possibly kill or maim me.
Okay.
Yeah. That's where I draw the line. I do not.
Right. So for me, your definition of a good government is one that passes laws that you like and allows you to ignore the ones you don't like.
I have to put up with it.
But that's basically your idea of a good government.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, you say we elect them, and we like you said, we elect them, and then if the governor of New York wants to impose a vaccine mandate, we voted for him, so we got to live with it, right?
So my idea of a good government is one that is made up of people, by people, for people. Governments are going to make unpopular decisions, and the reason they're going to make unpopular decisions is our conversation is a microcosm of that. You have a different idea of what a good government is than I do.
Yes.
So whatever government is in place, if one is closer to what you want, I'm going to not be as favorable for it. If it's closer to what I believe, you're not going to be as favorable to it. So there are going to be mistakes. But as long as it's not a government made up of church,
like a one-party rule.
It's not a government made up of aristocrats. It's not a government where people are. It's not an aristocracy. It's not a monarchy where people are born into ruling.
Yeah.
You know, you don't get to be the king because you were born to the previous king.
Yeah.
But as long as you have an input, as long as you have an opportunity to voice your opinion, to be heard, that to me is a good government.
Yeah. And like I said before, I agree that America is the greatest government in the world.
All righty. So now we can move on. We've answered that question. Okay. What's your next topic?
All right. They made a gold statue out of George Floyd. Is that kind of eerie? It freaked me out.
I've never heard about it.
They made a gold statue.
There are people. So, you know.
Oh, let me ask. Let me ask one more question.
Go ahead.
Do you believe in the Bible? Or are you a Christian, or do you have faith or anything like that?
I'm not a Christian.
Okay. Well, in the Bible,
I know Moses, about golden statues, golden.
Yeah. Moses takes them through the promised land. Says, we're going to get to the promised land. They're like, no, we want to worship this God. And they make a.
There's not, I can't. When you start talking religion, I'm not part of that conversation. There's
nothing, man, really?
I can't shed any light on that for you.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, dang, we need to have podcasts on that, man. I'd like to hear your views. So are you agnostic or atheist, or?
I'm going to leave it at that.
Okay. All right. Man, why'd you do that to me, Leon? Now I really want to know.
I know.
Are you a Muslim?
The religious conversation, I think, clouds out everything else. And so I would much rather go just logic.
All right. Sure. Okay. Well, that's why I had the golden calf reference.
I know you did.
And the thing which freaked me out.
Talk about it. There's nothing in that conversation that to me is going to edify either one of us.
Okay. I got one. Ghislaine Maxwell and Jeffrey Epstein. I don't know. I'm not sure if we talked when Epstein was dead, quote unquote. No. Last time we talked. Was he dead last time we talked?
I don't remember if he was dead.
Do you know who Epstein is?
Yeah.
Okay, the pedophile that had an island with this plane where he would fly super wealthy people to his island to have pedo orgies and probably
Understood.
child sacrifices and God knows what else goes on there, right?
Okay.
So apparently, the guards that were on duty in the Supermax prison, the most tight prison there is in New York and I think America, Epstein killed himself. And lo and behold, the cameras weren't working. And they falsified the records to show that they were on duty watching him.
Okay.
Do you accept that?
I wasn't there. I have to accept whatever data shows. If you're asking me,
So that's
the thing sounds
hearing.
suspicious. Yes, things sound
Okay.
suspicious.
Okay,
But
good.
I can't make a determinative judgment based on suspicion.
Okay. Okay, but I'm glad you at least accepted that is not, after hearing all those things I just said, it's really hard for me to hear anybody say, no, he just killed himself. That's just the way it was. That to me is the brainwashing I was talking about.
Right. And I don't think that that's brainwashing. I think some people absolutely have to have a definitive answer. They don't.
But
work
they
at a
don't.
gray
They
area.
don't either way though, because even the news is saying, well, he killed himself.
Well,
The cameras
again,
weren't working, but he
it's
killed himself. So
you.
either way, you don't know. So you have to decide.
Nope.
You have to make a decision.
I don't have a decision. I don't
But
know if he killed himself or not. I don't have enough
that's a
evidence.
decision. If you
I don't
don't
have
decide,
enough
you still made a
evidence
choice.
that- okay, if you'd like to call it that.
Yeah. So you've made a choice. All right. Okay, good. All right. Now, you know who Ghislaine Maxwell is.
Right.
Do you know who that is?
Mhm.
She's the pimp. She was
Yeah, she's recently been charged and found guilty.
yes.
Okay, go
Well,
ahead.
here's the kicker.
Okay.
James Comey, the guy, the lead of the FBI, his daughter was a prosecutor.
Right.
That's questionable on its face immediately.
Really?
Absolutely.
Why?
Why? Because all the malfeasance that Comey was done with the fake Russian dossier and faking
So
the.
if you were the head of the department of the FBI, and your daughter, or your son, or a child, or your
Why her though?
family member,
Why
went
her?
into law, the name Comey then becomes it has power.
Yes.
So why wouldn't his daughter get high profile cases?
It's a conflict of interest because Epstein and Maxwell were allegedly in cahoots with the FBI on some parts.
Let me ask you a question. Do you think that Comey's daughter would have enough integrity to be able to recuse herself if she believed that she could not do her job effectively?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
I do not believe that
whatsoever. And that's where it becomes important. If you don't believe she has the integrity,
right,
then it doesn't matter
what
I say.
I can't though, because like I said, there's a conflict of interest.
There may be a conflict of interest, but it's only a conflict of interest because you don't know all of the facts.
Well, I do know that Comey was part of the fake investigation.
You've got enough information to create
I know who her father was. Yes.
You don't have enough information to call it factual. That there's a
but if it quacks like a duck,
interest.
If it walks like a duck, quacks like a duck, it's probably a duck, Leon.
Yeah, but you're making a duck out of duck parts.
Yeah.
But you're putting
but that's just the beginning.
On top of the head.
Hold on, that
wings on the bottom.
Yeah, I had to. Well, that's what the evolutionists do. They find a little fucking tooth and they go, that is that right there. That
get the evolutionists. Go ahead. Let's get to Comey's daughter.
Okay, all right.
Let's get to Comey's daughter.
Okay. The FBI. It just keeps getting nastier and nastier. The FBI raided Epstein's house, and he had a massive vault full of DVDs and pictures and names and God knows however much more blackmail he had in that safe. And the FBI is now saying they lost it.
Okay.
The FBI said that they lost it.
Mm-hmm.
What the hell? That, you know what was in that safe? It was Bill Gates, pictures of Bill Gates.
You're making leaps.
I'm making assumptions. They're not big leaps.
You're making
They're not very big though. No, because
huge leaps.
Dude, he was best friends. He was best friends with Bill Gates.
He was, but that doesn't mean he took pictures of Bill Gates.
Well, why would the evidence get disappeared?
We don't know.
We do know.
Oh,
we freaking know, Leon.
All right.
Come on, man. You're pulling the freaking.
You're willing to make leaps I'm not willing to make.
Okay, so you say there's nothing there. The FBI.
I'm saying I don't know. I'm saying I need more evidence before I can draw conclusions.
If you had to decide, you would see, this is the difference between you. You don't want to make assumptions. I will definitely make assumptions. I don't want to make assumptions. Because you don't want to be wrong?
No, it's not because I don't want to be wrong. It's because I want to be right.
Well, that is good.
Wrong.
That I agree with that if we can finally get to the answer. But the way this is going, we're never going to know. That's why I have to say that's what the fuck's going on. Okay. Because if we can say, okay, let's put it off. They got all the evidence. We know what's in the safe. Maxwell's on trial. She's going to rat out everybody. All the people are going to go down. God for who cares? Be damned. Whoever goes down, goes down. Then I would say, okay, let's wait. But now they're saying all the information is sealed for life. It's sealed. They will not release the names of all the pedophiles, of all the blackmail, of all the people that were buying kids, of all the people that went to the island. That is all sealed.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
FBI sealed it. FBI lost the evidence. Epstein died in jail with no evidence, no video.
There's a difference between sealed and lost.
No, they sealed. No. At the end of the sentence, they sealed all the evidence.
Right.
So they went down in the trial.
Lost it.
No. This is separate issue.
Okay.
Separate issue. Yeah. They lost all the evidence in the safe, and during the trial, the evidence of the names of the people, they sealed it. So now we'll never know who Epstein blackmailed. We'll never know, and that's by design. Of course, they're not going to let it know. It could be, of course, it's Bill Clinton.
So you were
of course, it's Bill Gates.
Lane. So yes. You were talking about Ghislaine. So what? I don't remember you making any definitive statement other than to connect her to Epstein.
Well, she could bring down the house of cards. She could say, see, normally, like, let's say you bust a low question. Okay, go ahead.
Would you if she started naming names, would you trust her?
Yes.
Why would you trust her? What had she done or said that fosters trust that you can believe the things that she says?
Well, what if she had evidence? What if she said, here's the pictures?
If she's got evidence, that's different. I didn't say evidence. If she started naming names, could you trust her?
Yeah. Okay. I don't have no reason to not trust her.
I have every reason not to trust her. She's a convicted felon.
Okay, well, let's say she don't have the evidence, right? And she says it. Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, she says it was Bill Gates. Well, we know that Bill Gates was on the plane. We know
all right.
We know that Bill Clinton took Lolita Express to the island 26 times.
You're putting people's names in association with bad deeds, and you have no proof that they did the bad deeds, and that's unfair to people. That's like somebody saying, if Ghislaine said, used your name in conjunction with that.
Well, if I was hanging out with him on the plane, I mean, birds of a feather flock together, Leon.
But that's
birds of a feather flock together, Leon.
Is that There's no evidence that you did
There
it.
is evidence.
So putting somebody's name out
They
there,
hid the evidence. They got rid of it.
Then
got
all we can say is that we have a suspicion.
No,
And we
Leon.
should always use suspicion along with whatever we say, because
we should all, as Americans, be pissed off.
You
we
as
should
a
be
human
very
being,
pissed off.
You fight for the respect for your name, because everything, if somebody sullies your name, they've sullied you.
Yeah,
they've turned people against you unjustly.
Yeah, and but so, there's merit, Leon.
So we as a society should always strive to make sure that we don't sully a man's name on suspicion, that it should be proof and proven. I can call Tucker Carlson a liar because it's been proven in court.
That what?
That he's a liar.
Okay, he's a liar then.
But it's been proven in court. I wouldn't call him a liar just on the suspicion that I believe he's a liar.
What did he lie about?
He went to court? There was a defamation lawsuit against him, and his lawyers argued in court that the things that he was saying, people have a reasonable expectation not to believe him.
Okay.
That's a liar.
Wait, I missed that. Say it again. That he was being
that his listeners have a reasonable expectation that the things he's saying is not true, is not literally true.
So is that a lie?
That's a lie. That's what a lie is.
Well, a lot of people don't believe him, even if he said something
but the
very
idea
simple.
Is that he was proven in court, and that I'm not sullying his name by calling him a liar, because it's been proven by evidence.
The evidence being that someone said that he was a liar, that he said himself was a liar?
In court, his lawyers argued that's the case.
Well, I mean...
So when you bring up other people's name in association with Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell, without any proof that they did anything with those children, and you present your case as if they should be held in suspicion of, you are then sullying the name of someone who you don't know did anything wrong. And that's unfair to you, and that's unfair to them. And I think we have a responsibility as human beings in our society to give people the respect that they deserve until they've shown us they no longer deserve that respect.
Okay, I agree with you there. But check this out. If you were a good person, and would you be friends with Epstein if you knew he was a pedophile and he'd been convicted of pedophilia? Would you be good friends with him, hang out with him, go on his plane?
It's hard to.
What does that say about the person that's doing that stuff?
So let's say you've been friends with someone for a long time, and that person, you never knew that person was a pedophile.
No, but they did know, because Bill Gates did know, because he had already been convicted.
I understand what you're saying. I mean, you have to give me an opportunity to explain.
Okay, well, say it that I did know.
To explain, because relationships are tricky. How do you support a friend who's stumbled? So if your friend of several years has been convicted of
raping kids,
pedophilia, and that person says, I'm going to change my life. I'm going to turn around my life.
He didn't
turn around my life. Do you abandon that person, or do you try to help that person become better?
Yeah, but that's not the same thing, Leon.
You're
talking about a different situation. That has nothing to do with Epstein.
What's the difference?
Epstein did not say, I'm going to turn around my life. No, he went even harder.
How do you know what he said? How do you know what he said?
Leon, he got busted 2 times.
I'm not saying he didn't get busted 2 times. I
He
have
did
a
not
friend
turn
that
his
comes
life
to me.
around.
I have a friend
I
that
know,
comes
I
to
know
me.
you're using metaphors,
I'm
but
not
your
using a
metaphors,
metaphor.
I know,
I'm talking a very plain situation.
in your metaphor,
I have a
yes, I
friend
agree. You
that
might be able to
goes
try
to
to help him.
court,
Yeah,
that gets
try to help him.
convicted of child molestation, is released because he served his jail time.
Okay.
He served his jail time. He's
You
released.
had a friend?
No, I'm just saying.
Oh, okay.
Epstein was released from jail. He served time for his pedophilia, and so he's released. And I go to him and said, "Man, you fucked up. That's some fucked up shit. I can't continue to be your friend." And he says to me, "Man, I know I fucked it.
Leon, you're projecting your goodness on these
I
evil
know I
people.
fucked up. I'm
You
gonna be
would
a
do
better
that,
person."
Leon.
And
You
then
would.
I as a person have a choice to make.
Okay.
Either I'm going to condemn that person too, or I'm going to stand by him for a while until they give me
Leon,
reason to believe
but you're living
that they're
in
not going to make a change.
Leon, but you're
I'm listening.
playing all this stuff in your head like that happened. That didn't happen.
We don't know if it happened or not.
But you said you wouldn't make assumptions if you don't have evidence. But yet you're playing this. You're making this real nice fantasy of Epstein being like, "I'm sorry, Bill. I'm sorry, Bill. I'm gonna turn my life around." No, Leon, we're living in an evil world. Well, we know what we did. What he did.
We have to examine possibilities.
But we know what he did. He ramped it up even more, bought a freaking island, and raped more kids.
Okay.
So, like I said, Leon, you're projecting your goodness.
I don't think I'm projecting my goodness.
I would say you're a good man.
Thank you.
These people are not good men. These people are evil, powerful men.
Okay.
So you don't want to believe that they could do such horrid, evil shit. On my end, I say, I know for a fact these damn people are evil, and they will do it. And that's what this world is. It's evil. So
one of the things that we talked about at the very beginning of this, when you turned on the microphone, was, and what I said to you is, people are capable of good and people are capable of bad.
Yes.
I said
and Epstein was a bad man.
So you seem to think that I'm projecting good onto a person when I recognize that everyone can do bad.
Okay, yes.
I recognize he could do that.
But that story you told me was a crazy town. Epstein was an evil guy. But Epstein.
What if after we finish this, I get an email that says you molested children? What should I do?
I did?
Yeah.
You should hate me and want to hang me up on my toes and skin me.
I should do. That's how I should treat you.
Yes.
I shouldn't come to you and say, "Hey, man."
No.
This is what's been told.
No, Leon. That's the line in the sand for me, man.
I take
that's a. If they had evidence that I got busted, yes.
Okay.
I'm not. I am a God. Vengeance is mine, saith the Lord.
Mm-hmm.
That's a quote from the Bible. The Lord will get his vengeance on these evil people.
Okay.
They will get away with it in this realm, but when they go to the next realm, they face the real judge. Okay. Yeah, that's how I see it. There's evil people on the planet. They'll live their life. Wernher von Braun killed a bunch of Nazis, but we saved him, and he lived his life. He lived a good life after that. But when he meets God, that's the true judge, and he's going to get judged. That's the only justification that I get out of it, or the only satisfaction that I get knowing that these evil bastards are going to pay for what they've done. And I get pissed off when I see, oh, the FBI just lost all the files. Bullshit. Oh, the cameras weren't working, and they just let the guards go. They dropped all the charges against the guards that were supposed to be on duty when Epstein killed himself. Bullshit. There's these people that are super insanely rich, right, Leon? They have so much money, they have so much power that they don't give a damn about money, and all they care, they get sick. They get sick in the head, and what can I do next? Can I kill somebody? Yeah, well, if you got $500,000, we could bring you a little kid, and you can kill that kid. Oh, really? Oh, okay, that sounds good.
Well, let me ask you a question.
Next thing you get Pedophile Island.
Who do you know that did that scenario that you just put forward?
Epstein.
He killed kids.
Yes, most likely.
Okay, most likely.
Well, he definitely
Either
raped
he did
kids.
kill kids. Either he did kill kids or he didn't kill kids. It ain't. He most likely did it.
Well, he definitely blackmailed highly
I
powerful
understand all
people.
that. You created a
I'm
scenario.
just I'm doing what you were doing earlier. You were
Oh, is
saying,
that what
yeah,
I was doing?
we're like
What
on
I
the
was doing. I was pulling stories out of thin air.
yeah. That's we're like it was
very,
like one
very good.
yeah, it was one extreme to another, basically. I don't trust these people, Leon. They're pedophiles, man. And we know for sure Epstein was. And it's a sick world, Leon. We live in a sick world, man.
I don't think we live in a sick world. I think we live in a world where people do good things and people do bad things.
Well, I guess that's the sick part I'm talking about.
Sick. That makes people
are
very
evil,
complicated. That's what it does.
Yeah, and I think Bill Gates is one of them. I do not trust
Everybody's
that dude as far as
you're real complicated.
Yeah, I know, but Bill Gates has a dark history, man.
It's like you and I don't agree on a whole lot of things.
Yeah,
but yet you enjoy talking to me.
For sure.
if that ain't something to ponder, you don't know what it is.
Mm-hmm. So how are you doing through all this COVID crap? Have you got it yet, or
no, not as far as I know. I don't have to go out much, so I make sure I keep myself protected. I always wear a mask.
Okay. So how do you feel about me not wearing a mask? Am I killing people?
I think
have I killed somebody?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. If you're not wearing a mask and you're not vaccinated and you're not social distancing, and you're not washing your hands and you're not doing things to help mitigate the spreading of the virus.
I don't have the virus.
I'm disappointed.
But I don't have the virus. How could I spread it?
You don't know. There are people who are asymptomatic. There are people who are asymptomatic who don't show.
But you don't spread it if you're asymptomatic.
That's incorrect.
It's correct. If you don't have any symptoms, you can't spread it. If you could, then this whole thing's a lie because you'll never know who has it and who doesn't.
So all I can say is, I would not be around you if you didn't wear a mask and you weren't vaccinated. This is as close as we'd ever.
Come on. Okay. Leon.
And if you were open carry a weapon, this is as close as we would get.
You wouldn't trust me with a weapon, Leon?
It's not about trusting you.
What is it about?
It's about not allowing you to bring something into my life I don't want.
Okay. What if we were hanging out and some guy busted in the room, started shooting people, and I killed him? Would you be thankful?
That's not going to change my mind.
But would you be thankful at that moment that I saved your life?
You're asking me as a human, am I going to be human? I'm human.
Right.
And anytime, one of the primary objectives of the human body or human is self-preservation.
Exactly.
So I'm going to be thankful for anything that helps me preserve my life.
For sure.
But I'm not going to be excited that you brought a gun. That's never going to change.
I look at a gun as like a little tool, like a little wrench.
I understand how you look at it.
Like I'm going to fix a car.
That doesn't change my view of it.
Well, the men are evil, like you said, Leon. So I could use
this.
Yeah, so I could have a gun and it's harmless.
Even the most evil person has an opportunity to do something nice.
Yeah, for sure. I see, like, I keep tools in my truck just in case my car breaks down. I have a couple of tools.
However you feel. But
I think you've been brainwashed to think that gun is going to hurt you, Leon.
No, it's not. I don't see it as necessary. I don't see it as necessary.
I think it's like a mask. Like the slightest chance that it'll help you. That's why you do it.
Okay.
right? The slightest chance, the 1 in a million chance that I need that gun. That's why I got it.
I understand.
And so the thing with the mask thing, Leon, is so I looked into the science of a mask and microbiology and the virus, and I've learned that the virus is 1 microbe small, which means I don't know I know that means that what that means is it's 1 microbe. That's how big it is. Like if you were able to measure the coronavirus, it's a microbe. And you can look this up. Every scientist admits it. No one denies this. That's just the size of it, right?
Okay.
So it's microscopic. You can't see it, obviously.
You can't see it with the eye.
Yeah.
Make it up. Right.
Yeah, but the size of it, if you could measure it, the scientists would say it's 1 microbe large.
Okay.
The mask that you wear, probably just a regular surgical mask, stops maybe something as large as 7 microbes or 10 microbes large. So basically, imagine getting a ball of sand and throwing it through a chain link fence. Those are the odds of you stopping the virus.
That's incorrect.
But I just explained to you that your mask is.
What you explained to me was the virus is microscopic.
1 microbe.
The carrier for the virus is broader than the aeration of the mask. So the virus has a transport system, which is saliva or body fluids,
yes,
which then are trapped in the mask. So like you're breathing, if you have a mask on, you'll see that, like, I wear glasses, so my glasses will tend to fog, which means that the majority of my breath flows back through the mask, up and out, and not through the mask.
No.
Okay.
No. I know what you're saying a little bit. Sure.
You know what I'm saying completely. That's not.
No, but this is what I'm saying, Leon.
Listen.
It's 1 microbe small.
Yeah, but it has to be on a carrier. It in and of itself, it's not mobile.
Okay.
It doesn't go anywhere.
Okay, if I were to put a mask on and breathe smoke, would it go through the mask?
I don't know. There are certain.
If I had a mask on and I
there are certain masks that are designed to prohibit the consumption of smoke, isn't it?
Well, I would say, Leon, if you're going to wear a mask, truly, as a friend, wear an
as a friend, you're walking around maskless with an automatic weapon, and now you're my friend.
Yes.
Oh, keep it up, Elijah. Oh,
Leon,
man.
As a friend,
Okay.
I would advise you to only wear KN95 masks.
That is, and there's a reason for that.
There is a reason.
See,
I'm not anti-science. I am.
Well,
no, the thing is, it stops
of the virus.
No, it won't stop it completely because, like I said, it's a 1 microbe. You can look this up when we're done.
Yeah, but it's so small,
Leon.
Carried on something.
No, it goes through the air.
Yeah, but
it goes through the air.
In the air, it is the air is full of what? Water molecules.
Moisture.
Water molecules. So the water molecule, your mask can be designed to disallow the penetration of water molecules, which carries the virus.
Okay, so like, let's say we're in a room together. You're wearing a mask. I'm not wearing a mask.
That's good.
I have COVID.
Okay.
Will you get COVID?
Not necessarily.
What if we're in the room for 4 hours, 5 hours, 10 hours?
Not necessarily.
Why?
It depends on your position to my position.
We're close. We're sitting across the table from each other.
It depends on, how the room is ventilated. It depends on a lot of other factors that are going to determine if you can spread the virus.
I'm sick. I'm
way.
coughing. I'm sneezing. I'm cold.
I think it's sneezing. Okay. I mean, if you want to give me the virus, then yeah, you're coughing and sneezing and
well, my
shaking
point
my
is,
hand
Leon.
and rubbing my head.
My
Yeah,
point
I
is the
get it.
masks
Okay.
are
But
minimal.
you just say, if I've got on a mask and you are a carrier, that does not necessarily. So the way to get the virus is through your mucous membranes, in your nose, in your throat, in your
Yeah,
eye.
but I don't see people spitting on each other, and the thing's spreading
When
like
you
crazy.
when you talk, there's microscopic spit that comes out. You can't.
Have you seen that new the guy? I think he's like, I don't know, Zimbabwe. He's like the president of Zimbabwe or something. He was wearing 2 masks and a full face shield and completely protected from everybody. He still got COVID.
Well, you don't know if he got COVID before he had the 2 masks, windshield, and helmet.
I'm just saying he was so precautious, it did
But
not matter.
You don't know if he had a lax in protocol at one point.
But that's what I mean, Leon. Like, no matter how precautious you are, no matter how scared you are and how much you lock yourself indoors and you get the vaccine and you do this and you you still gonna get it, Leon.
That's the same as I don't own a firearm, but because people in my neighborhood was firing on the January the 1st, there's a potential for me to get killed, shot.
Yeah.
I don't have a gun.
Well, yeah. I mean, we can't. My point is, we can't live in fear, Leon.
I'm not living in fear. I'm living in rational. So my rational behavior says, I don't have to go out. Don't go.
Okay, and I'm fine with that. But I don't think it's fair for an older man to tell a young boy that he can't go out without a mask or a vaccine.
You know how
because the old man is afraid of the little kid.
You know how you get to be 60 years old?
How?
By not being a fool.
Okay, I agree with that. That's why I quit drinking.
Do you know you can't die of a bullet wound if there's no gun?
Yeah.
You know that?
Yeah. You know you will never die.
So if I told you, don't be where guns are, am I being scared or am I being rational?
But that's your choice, Leon. You can do that. That's fine.
The question is, am I being scared or am I being rational?
Well, it depends. I'm saying, Leon, are you going in a crack house? There's a bunch of people in there with guns. I definitely not going in there. Or you can say, or you can tell your friend.
If you're in a grocery store with somebody with a weapon, you can get shot.
Then no, you're not being rational.
Don't go nowhere.
You're not being
there's
rational.
Guns, and you can't die of a gunshot wound.
I go to gun shows.
That is a reality.
Okay, that's like saying, Leon, you know how you can never get in a car wreck?
Don't get in a damn car.
Never drive.
Never drive. And that's rational.
But that's not living. It's rational, but it's not living.
That has nothing to do with, I'm going to say nothing to do. That is not fear. That is rational thinking.
No, it's not, Leon, because we have to get somewhere. We have to go somewhere.
So
we're going to risk our life.
Anywhere? So before
that's like saying, don't ride in a bug, don't ride a horse, because you might fall off one day.
I'm sorry.
Sorry. My point is, Leon, we got to just live our lives, man. We can't let the government.
And that's a choice that you make. You as a young man.
Yes.
Think you're bulletproof.
No. I know I will die
as
one
an
day.
older guy, no, I am not bulletproof. So I'm not going to put myself in a way.
Well, I agree. Like, Leon, you're an older man. You should probably take more precautions than a younger guy.
A younger guy should take more precautions because you haven't learned the lessons that I have.
Okay, so when in history have we ever sacrificed the young for the old? When have we said, we're going to sacrifice the young so we can keep the old people safe?
Oh, when they used to sacrifice virgins to the gods.
Before that, after that, after we
You
no, yeah,
asked. You
yeah, you're
asked.
right.
I told you.
No, that's the only time, which
No,
is
that's not the only
disgusting and
time.
sick. It's
That's
sick,
not the
right?
only time.
It's sick, right? You
I
admit, you agree,
disagree
it's
with it,
sick.
but they did
Okay,
it.
well then I disagree that we should be vaccinating little kids
Okay,
and putting masks on them to save old people,
very good.
because I consider myself lucky if I get to 60. Honestly,
Here's where I say that there's a problem with that logic. Old people have spent a lot of years gaining knowledge.
yes, I agree.
And if we let all of the old people die, that knowledge goes away. And you have to learn it all over again.
Well, I mean,
So
you're
the
giving
whole
me
idea
knowledge
of
now.
an old person telling you not to do something or to do something is because they've learned things that you have not yet learned.
I know, Leon, but we cannot be experimenting on little kids.
We're not experimenting.
Yes, we are. The
Okay.
vaccine is a 100% experiment.
Okay.
They made it in 9 months. They put a emergency use.
Okay.
They made it to where no vaccine company can be sued for anything. And even the damn head of Pfizer said, well, we don't know what it's going to do to the kids. So the only way we got to know is we just got to shoot them up with the vaccine and we'll figure it out.
Okay.
That's crazy, dude.
Okay. If you say so.
That's crazy. Okay. You know what happened back in the day? I think it was Japan or China. The old people, a nuclear reactor blew up, kind of like in Chernobyl. You remember how the nuclear power or whatever? One of them exploded, and all the old people in the town said, "You know what?
Yeah. It was in Japan, wasn't it? No,
I think so. Japan or China? I think one of the two.
Yeah, so there was Chernobyl was
Chernobyl was Russia. Yes.
I
think it was in Japan.
Name of it. But go ahead. I know what you're talking about.
Well, the story is the old said, we're not going to sacrifice no young people. We know we're going to die. We have to stop this reactor or we're going to ruin this whole city and all these young people are going to die. So all the old people got together and said, fuck it, we're going to do it. Let's save this town and these kids. Let's go. And they die with dignity and pride and valor. And they walked their asses in there and they shut down the reactor and they died.
Okay.
And I'm not saying I want anybody to die, any old people to die. But I'm saying we shouldn't sacrifice young people.
Every experienced person, I like to call us experienced, this gray hair, each one of them is experience.
Yes.
Every time we let experience go to waste, we've lost something.
But are you willing to sacrifice the young?
I have no idea what you mean by sacrificing the young.
Well, like, do you think little kids should get vaccinated?
Yes.
5-year-olds?
Yes.
What if they have heart attacks? Which they are.
Did you know 5-year-olds have heart attacks even without vaccination?
No, Leon. No, they don't, dude. No, they don't.
Did you know you have to get vaccinated to go to school in the United States?
Bullshit. I live in Texas. Why would the government tell a 5-year-old to get a vaccine?
So you didn't have a smallpox, polio vaccines?
Well, those are actual vaccines. The one we're talking now is an experimental.
I mean,
it's a therapy.
So you're just picking and choosing which vaccine.
No, I'm being scientific. Okay. If you take the smallpox vaccine, you don't get smallpox. Duh. If you take the COVID vaccine, you can still get COVID. So by that definition, it is not a vaccine
and still get the flu.
It's not a vaccine. It's a therapeutic. If they said, of course they do, Leon.
You want your flu vaccine? That's what they call it.
Of course they do. Just like they changed the definition of gain of function for its convenience.
You're beyond me now. I'm not a scientist.
I'm not either, but I am heavily
I don't know
researched.
nothing about gain of function.
I do. I know a lot. That's what I'm saying, Leon. Like,
I've heard some people talk about it. I heard a couple of politicians talk about it. I do not trust politicians to talk about medical issues.
Well, you can still have an opinion. You can still be
I don't have an opinion. I'm not a doctor.
I know a lot about World War II.
I learn the best that I can, and then I try to pass that knowledge on to other people.
But you got to remember, people lie, Leon.
Well, of course, I told you people do good things
lie,
and people do bad things.
That's why you have to research. That's why you have to say, I don't trust this guy. I'm going to look it up myself.
That's why I don't trust politicians telling me about gain of function.
And that's why I don't trust politicians to say take the vaccine, because I said, let me research
and
this.
That's fine.
Yeah. My dad almost died of COVID. He almost died.
I'm sorry.
He got close. That. Yeah.
Sorry to hear that.
He got really, really sick. And the doctors, or no, they called my sister called the ambulance, and he was having a hard time breathing because he has diabetes and he's somewhat overweight. And my sister called the paramedics. They showed up and they told him, you can still breathe. Don't go to the hospital. Even though he was like dying, like straight up.
Did he go to the hospital?
No, they wouldn't take him.
So he survived.
Yes.
So they were right.
Well, here's the thing. They do not want to treat you. They want to wait till you almost die or dying to get to the hospital. And then they basically kill you. And they basically kill you in the hospital.
But they were right.
How?
Because he didn't die.
Okay, but they said wait till you're about to die and then go to the hospital.
Okay. So they knew what they were talking about.
But why didn't they treat him?
Because it was probably they didn't have what they need. There was nothing to treat.
Exactly.
Do you believe?
That's my point.
Do you believe that those paramedics did not care about your dad, living or dying?
No, I don't think they didn't. No, I think they did.
You don't. You believe?
No, I think they did. No.
Collecting a paycheck, they didn't give a.
No, it's not. I said that wrong. I do think they did. I don't think they didn't care. I think they probably cared. I think the system.
So they gave you the
doesn't care.
Medical advice.
They're not a doctor, Leon. Huh? They're not a doctor. They're paramedics.
They obviously didn't have to be a doctor because the advice that they gave you worked out the way they told you it would.
My dad got lucky he didn't go to the hospital.
Okay.
They would have killed him if he would have went to the hospital.
Okay.
For sure. Because they have financial incentives to kill you if you go to the hospital. I'm not joking. It's in the documents. They admitted that they get money from dying. If you die, they get money. But my point is,
so
they're not treating.
I occasionally watch a medical drama where they show some doctor who's working with a what do you call it? A transplant facility, and they intentionally try to kill patients to
yes, that happens.
And so what I realize is that's drama.
No.
Check this out. I have never. So
I'm about to blow your mind real quick, Leon. Check this out.
Jeremy, just do that for me.
Real quick. Mm-hmm. About 2 episodes ago on my podcast, you got to listen to this guy. He is a detective in New York, a retired detective investigator. He told me that his job is to investigate serial killers in the medical field. And he put at least, I don't know how many people, maybe 5, 10 people in prison for life for murdering people in the hospitals, females and males, all documented, all went to court, all through the justice system, got sentenced in prison for murdering over 100 to 300 people.
Okay.
That's not just drama, Leon. That shit's real, bro.
I'm not saying that that's not drama. Again,
it's real.
I haven't investigated it. You have talked to him. I haven't talked to him. I haven't listened to the podcast. I don't know what evidence he's used.
He's a cop.
And so I can't make an assessment based on.
Well, I'm just saying.
You just told me.
But take my word for it. You can look. He's 100% credited. He's got a book.
One thing you will learn about me is you've got to put a fine point on something before I'll bite off on it.
Okay, he's got a book. He's a detective. Okay, he's got a book. He's got a book.
I'm too low.
Okay, well, here we go. He's got a book. He's a retired cop. You could look all that up. You could look up the guys he was talking about that are in prison at the moment. So it's real.
But I'll have to go and do that. I have to go and do that research before I accept that.
That I can definitively say that absolutely they murder people in hospitals.
I believe a person has a right to have their name respected until it's been proven otherwise. And I don't have enough proof to impugn the integrity of medical professionals.
Okay, but I'm handing you, in that instance, I'm handing you all the
what you're handing me is handing me an opportunity to do some
right.
Research.
Thank you. Yes, exactly. Right. Oh man, we could go on forever, Leon.
Well, of course.
Man, I'd like to have you on again in a few months if you're willing.
I'm always willing to come on and try to understand where you're coming from and why you're saying the things that you do. I recognize that you have a lower threshold of proof than I do. I have a pretty high threshold of proof. Sometimes I have to see it more than once or twice to believe that it's true. And I have to be able to ask, poke at it and ask questions before I'll accept that it is the way it is. But,
okay.
you.
Well, I agree. And I respect that. But I think that maybe there's some holes that you need to go down just because I know that you're looking for things, but people are pushing you in certain directions. And if I could push you in one direction, I would say look up Dr. McCullough. He was on Joe Rogan's podcast. He did 3 hours. He explained a lot. There's a new doctor that was just on his show, and he blew a lot of this COVID stuff out of the water. There's a book, The Real Dr. Fauci by Robert F. Kennedy Jr. It's a bestseller right now. It's got like 30,000 citations in there about all the malfeasance during the AIDS epidemic that he did. And what he's doing now with the Wuhan lab and COVID and all that stuff. There's tons of information in there, proven information. If I could push you in that direction, I would definitely tell you about that doctor that I just talked to. Man, that was crazy. Like, I didn't realize.
Feel free to send me that information.
Sure. Awesome. Okay.
And then when I have some time, I will definitely look it over.
Yeah. But there's a lot of stuff, Leon. I mean, there's a lot of evil in this world. And there's a lot of good. Like you said, there's good too.
There's people that do good.
Yeah.
People that do bad. And we have to determine how we use the resources that we have. Yeah. Because sometimes bad people do good things. And if we just reject those good things because they were brought to us by bad people or people that have done bad, then maybe we hurt ourselves as a whole.
Yeah. It's a strange situation because Hitler did a lot of experiments on people, and they ended up coming up with the medicine that we use today through Hitler experimenting on people. And like you said, it's like, what do you do? Yeah, he's an evil bastard, but I guess we have to steal the information, right?
We have to determine if
what
is the greater
good? Yeah, for humanity, should we take
punishing the evildoer or using the results to benefit society?
Yeah.
What is the greater good?
Yep, I agree. All right, Leon, tell everyone one more time where they can find your podcast.
My podcast is Altitude Adjustment. It's available on YouTube and on Twitch. We stream every Friday and Saturday live at beginning 2 p.m. Central Time from 2 to 3. Again, Altitude Adjustment. You can find us at Lions Den STL on YouTube. The website is the Lions Den STL.wix site, WIX site.com/home.
Awesome. All right, Leon. Thank you so much for coming back on the show. I always enjoy talking to you. That was a lot of fun, and let's do it again sometime.
And I appreciate you. I was a little late, and so